With Pedigree to Win, you offer a sort of a race by race breeding analysis. Somebody subscribed to you, how many sort of race recommendations or rate would you throw up a day?
Um, I try and look at, sometimes I do the whole card, but most of the time I will do 5 to 6 races. I try and choose, to be assistant, to be of assistance to people, and is either maidens, novices, nurseries, um, the big feature races, the group races and the listed races, because those are mainly at level weights. So you don't have to worry about things like that, which I don't worry. But I do the handicaps as well. For example, Hong Kong is mostly handicaps, so it doesn't matter if it's the one or the other. But I try and do at least 5 races. Sometimes I do as much as 10. But I do find when I try and do 10, I get very tired, and I start to make the odd little small mistake, and I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. If I limit it to 5 or 6, 7, find my accuracy level is a lot higher.
Okay, and it's not just UK racing, but you do Hong Kong, Dubai, Qatar, others. I mean, which jurisdiction has proved to be the most accurate so far?
They've all been extremely accurate, but the most accurate, strangely enough to me, it beats me completely, has been Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong I'm getting now between 60 and 80% winners on a day, which is handicaps. It beats me a little bit because I did not expect that, and but it's pretty much the same in the other, in all the other jurisdictions. The best run I had probably was the Breeders' Cup. The 2 days of the Breeders' Cup, the babies on the Friday and then the main races on the Saturday. I think I got there. It surprised me as well. But I find generally looking anywhere in the world, based on pedigrees, you're going to get a more accurate picture, and you'll be able to see very quickly which is a false favourite and which is not. I think people haven't read what I'm saying correctly yet, but I've done it once or twice here at Newmarket. I think at Newmarket Racecourse, where I felt a bit more confident, to say, in my prediction, I'd say that that the race is between this horse and that horse. I am going to advise you to discard the favourite and the second favourite, because and the distance of this race is too short for these horses. But and therefore I recommend this and these places, and that's how they ran, exactly like that. I think you got a 14-1 winner that day, and one of those favourites ran second or third. One of them didn't run a place, and then you got another one or two of the big price horses came in, but and it worked out pretty accurate. What I'm saying there is that you can read the false favourites and you can read the true favourites. You can see it immediately. But I haven't started to work on that at this stage, because I fear that's it's markets you're trading on. So I want to leave that for a bit later on.
And is it harder to predict the lower the grade you get? I mean, would you look at a race at Southall midweek the same way as you would do a big race in Hong Kong?
Um, the big races are easier, but they get more complicated because you got more well-bred horses in that race. So if you're looking at a big Group One, there's the big Group One performers in there that now there might be in a field of 12 horses, there's going to be 10 well-bred horses or 9 well-bred horses. So you got to be a little bit more tentative, and it is harder. As opposed to going down to the bottom handicaps, when you can look at something and you can. I'll give you an example. I looked at a race the other day. I can't remember the race course, but looked at the field of about 12 horses as well, and there were only 2 horses that could possibly win the race. The one horse, I don't remember the price, but the other horse was 150-1. I looked at these 2 horses, and I went back. I sat down, had a cup of tea, and I came back and I looked again. Only 2 horses can win this race, but all the prices were there. So, yeah, just to say that I don't normally bet. I hardly ever bet. But I looked at this and I thought to myself, well, that I'm going to take the one. Yeah, no, that's I can't remember the price. Say it's 5-1 to win, and I'm going to recommend the other one as the only place bet I'm going to recommend 150 to 1. So I opened up the betting and I had a look and they were offering, I think, 40 pounds a place. So I put 50 pounds on because I thought, this is just crazy. So I put 50 pounds. It ran second. It's just, so what I'm saying is the bottom handicaps are easier as opposed to harder because there's more opportunity there because you can also read the new babies coming in. Today somebody phoned me and said to me, we've got a stable, I won't say any names or anything, there's a stable here in Newmarket that's running a horse and we've been told that this horse can't lose. So, would you have a look at the field for us and just tell me what you think? So I looked at the field and I said, look, it's not a strong field, but beware, there are two unraced horses in this race. Both of them, I think, are 16 to 1 and 25 to 1, but they are very, very well bred. And in a field like this, normally, these two will come up and people won't understand what's going on. But it's the point I'm trying to make it. You often find the value, and it's easier to read those races as opposed to the big races. They're harder.
And when you're doing your study, you're not influenced by the betting because you don't look at it.
No.
So we were talking before, and you said to me that study of breeding is an imperfect science. I mean, what percentage of it would you say is predictable?
I say, and people say I'm bold to say that, I say 75% of the horse's pedigree, 25% is the rest. But that horse must have, a lot of horses have got conformational problems. You need to take that into account. When you're looking at a horse, even if it's a best bred horse that you think you can find in the book and you go and look at it and it's small and got bad legs, you have to take that into account. So it's not all just pedigree because it is also the physical, the pedigree. But our pedigree to me is a foundation, as I say, and I think that the foundation makes up, to me, 75%. And then the rest will be, you go and look and you see.
Yeah, when you study the card, then do you watch it on the TV and look at the horse and make notes if it looks bad or it looks particularly good? So you've got that against.
No, I don't follow that at all. What I'm talking about conformation is when I'm going to buy horses, select horses for Dylan, for example. What I do is I draw up a short list of that catalogue and I say to him, we need to go and look at these 50 horses, and of that 50 horses, we're going to look at them physically, and we might end up with 20. And then we'll bid off that list of 20. We'll discard the other 30 because of problems that we're not happy with. We'll overlook another odd problem, but in general we're quite strict with that. So we buy off, but we have to be because he was a new emerging stable. You couldn't go and buy horses with problems that are going to hinder you. You needed to hit the road running. So we needed to make sure we found sound individuals.
Okay, now your pedigree analysis. So would you say that for somebody thinking about subscribing, is it a pointer to further investigation for form book students, or could you just subscribe and back blindly what you put up?
And it's funny you ask that question. I've told people, on the site in newsletters, that if you just take the 5 horses I'm recommending, and you put them in your exactas and in the quartets, you will win on the day. I'm confident that there's enough there for you just to win on the day like that. Or take what I am recommending to win, and look at your program and look at who the trainer is, look who's riding the horse, and and I've picked a horse that is. And I'm recommending to run a place, and it's 33 to 1, and you see as a student of the game, and you're looking at this and you see that horse is trained by this ex-trainer, ridden by this jockey. Why? Then you must know that's not there for a reason. It's not there for no reason. It has a chance. Put places on those. Give you an example. In a Melbourne Cup, I recommended that 2 horses to win the Melbourne Cup would come from the favourite. He stood out, and the horse had won the Melbourne Cup. And then but I said, but for students looking for a bit of value, look at this horse. I think the horse's name was Sharifa or something. That ran a place at I think 80 to 1. So one of the subscribers read what I said, and he said, I'm not going to try and back the winner here. I'm just going to put as much place as I can on, this horse Sharifa. And he made himself a small fortune by just reading what I was trying to say.
Now, you say that you try and keep the races that you study to below 10 for your accuracy a day. Are there any types of race that work best that you would pick out of a busy day's racing?
The best races to work on, as I said earlier, are the maidens, novices, nurseries, feature A, listed feature A, group races. Those are clearly where you'll always find the value there.
And you can point your way to the true favourite in the race.
I could point my way to a true favourite in most races, yes. Yes, absolutely. You know what, vice versa, I can also see when a horse is a totally false favourite. I can see it immediately.
Now, I'm assuming then that if you are a serious form student and they use your analysis in conjunction with what they already know, it would help read between the lines as to trainers' plans, or even if a trainer doesn't really know what it's got and it's been unwittingly racing a horse over the wrong trip or the wrong going or whatever. Would that be, that the way to use it as well?
Absolutely. That's where the most value lies. There was one of the subscribers, I think it's on my phone, sent me a message and said, one of my good friends is, he's an owner and he's got a horse running today, and the horse was, I think first or second favourite, and he said to me, can the horse win the race? So I said to him, I'll have a look at it for you, and I assessed the race. I said, yes, the horse has got the pedigree to win, and he should be in the first or second favourite. He duly won the race. He phoned me afterwards. He said, no, I didn't follow it up myself, but he phoned me after and said, the horse run, you were right. But yes, you can read it that way, absolutely.
So when, I suppose the more evidence a horse shows itself, the more runs it has, the less value it would be the breeding, because it's now proven what it can do, or you still use it to anticipate how it's going to progress in the future?
Horses run, this is a whole subject on its own, and I don't want to claim to be a master of that, but horses, if I can use the word consistent, some horses will run consistently, some will run to peaks and waves, and so it's that's why horses show form and don't show form, and that's why you can always find the value is looking at the breeding. The breeding will always be the basis. So and that horse might win a race and then go off a little bit and be given a rest and come back and run 6th or 7th, but you pick it up in a race and you see, wow, look at this horse for this pedigree. Maybe the trainer thinks they're giving it a run, but in that race, that's the perfect distance for it. And bang, it comes and wins. That's where I think a lot of value comes in as well. Is you find these, you find this value. You can see it for an owner or a breeder, breeders even, breeders, trainers wanting to know their races. There's so much value to that. They will see it immediately when they look at what I'm saying. They'll see it straight away. Another trainer, in Newmarket, had a horse running one day. They fancied it very strongly. And I said, Dylan came and asked me, and they didn't ask me, they asked Dylan via the grapevine, and I said to them, that the horse is not bred to go this distance. If they bring it back in distance, I would tell you confidently, back it. But it was running too far. In the race, what happened in the race, it hit the front and it ran second. It just happens.